Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mihir Joshi, and today, hey, flip around. Okay, oh, there you go. I was saying today I've got three fantastic artists that I'm going to be speaking with and getting you guys to know a little bit more about. And my first guests for today are actually here without any delay. They are two incredible musicians whom I've known for a fairly long time, but I want to get to know more about their journey together. Welcome on the MJ show, Bryden and Parth. Hey, how are you guys?
What's up, Mihir?
Hi, Mihir.
Hey, good to see you after a fairly long time. I think the last time we met was like years ago. I think when you were performing back then with Raghu Dixit, and I know you've done so much more since then. So there's a lot to talk about, and I'm so happy that both of you are in the same place today. Like I was wondering, I would have been happy to talk to you even if you were sitting at your own homes. I would have talked to you first, and then I would have talked to you, and it wouldn't have been the same as having Bryden and Parth in the same room together. So welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks, Mihir. Thank you.
yeah. I think it's been about 3 days since we started meeting, and
Yeah.
we're taking all precautionary measures. We
Right.
first sanitize and then we shake hands.
So, you know what? Before we get into what's happening right now, I know you guys have been doing quite a lot of interesting things during the lockdown, and I know you have an album planned as well. So that's interesting news. I'm super excited to find out about that. Let's actually talk, as I always do, about what I call the origin story. How did actually I want three different origin stories. I want to know a little bit about Bryden individually. I want to know a little bit about Parth individually, and then I want to know how this duo happened. So I'll leave it up to you. Who's going to start?
Um okay, so I have a background in rock music. I
Of
play with
course.
a band called Plane, and that's my first love. I love the sound of hard rock and heavy metal and that kind of stuff. So yeah, music for me happened way back in church, and I did a lot of a cappella. That's why the choir thing is still with me. And so after playing with Slane, I was invited to play with the Raghu Dixit project, and it's there where I met Parth, and then that's the origin story. So let Parth start his story, and then we'll take
But
over.
wait. I don't let origin stories go by so lightly. So, you talked about having a rock music background and, doing, church music as well. And then, of course, being a part of Raghu Dixit's band, where, okay, you didn't do much singing. You were the guitar player there. But I know you sing really, really well. I mean, I've seen you sing on your channel as well. We got to start it off with a song by you, Bryden. I mean, see, with Parth, I'm going to tell him he's going to have to play the flute because he sings through his flute. I think he sings so beautifully using his instrument. You got two instruments, one which you play here and one which you play from here. So I got to hear you use the two of them together to start things off. What can I hear which was something that you played back in those days? It could be either one of your songs, one of your band songs, or it could be a song that you really love. Like, for instance, I'm wearing a Beatles t-shirt. Maybe a Beatles, whichever, a band that you really enjoyed.
Oh God, you really got me off guard, huh? um, so there's a really cool song called "When I See You Smile" by this band called Bad English. It's a song that I fell in love with when I was a child, and it's still a beautiful melody. So I'll probably sing that.
Yeah, let's go for that.
Go for it.
It's in a F sharp. Okay. Excuse the lyrics, okay? I don't know lyrics.
You're talking to your brother in that sense, man. I don't remember the lyrics of songs that I have written, so it's perfectly fine if you don't remember someone else's songs.
Amazing. Okay. Sometimes I wonder if I'd ever make it through this world without having you. I just wouldn't have a clue. Sometimes it feels this world's closing in on me, and then I see you reach for me. And then I see you reach for me. Sometimes I wanna give up, I wanna give in, wanna quit the fight. And then I see you, baby, and everything's alright. Alright, I want everyone to smile, okay? Smile. When I see you smile, I can face the world, oh, You know I can do anything. When I see you smile, I see a ray of light. Oh, oh. You know I can do anything. When I see you smile, baby, when I see you smile, smile at me.
That
When I
was
see you smile at
fantastic.
me.
Sorry?
When I see you smile at me.
That was really, really cool, man. And now, Parth, let's talk a little bit about you. How did your journey begin? When did you start learning to play the flute?
So I started very early. I started at the age of 6. But
Wow.
I also come from a Sindhi family, so music wasn't going to come to me naturally. In terms of most of my family are into the garment business, so music was didn't come to me naturally. My mom, in fact, was a very, very big Krishna Bhakt. So it was her dream saying that my son has to learn the flute and play for me. So that it was as simple as that. She made me learn the flute, and I think today she is happy.
That's amazing, man. I can't believe you landed up picking the flute as your instrument because your mother was a Krishna Bhakt. Man, you know
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Every Indian god, every mythological god of our country should be associated with an instrument. It could even be a modern instrument. Imagine, okay, I don't want to say any god names and associate instruments. The next thing I know, people are writing to me saying, how could you disrespect? I'm not disrespecting anybody, but imagine if your mother thought
You're
that
probably going to
Ganpati
for the
played the
next.
guitar really well and she got you to play the guitar because she thought Ganpati plays the guitar like nobody else. Man, you'd
But
be
I am
so lucky
Ganpati.
and happy.
The joke is that he's Krishna and I'm Ganesha.
Yeah.
So Parth, you learned at a very young age. And when did you start uh, performing live on stage, performing with various people? And what was your journey before you reached Bryden and Parth?
So when I was young, I did very few classical concerts. I didn't really do too many classical shows, although I learned Hindustani classical music. But the only time I started performing was when I was in 11th. I got into this reality show called MTV Rock On, and that's when I actually figured out what it is to play with a band and figure out different sounds. Because I only played the flute as a classical performing artist, so I didn't really know how a flute would sound in a band setup. So that really exposed me to a lot of music. And right after I got out of Rock On is when I joined the Raghu Dixit project, and our story will continue from there.
So, do you remember the first time you and I met was when I had Raghu on my show for the very
Yep.
first time. It was
Yeah, yeah.
backstage at some concert. I don't know where you guys were performing, somewhere in Mumbai itself. And I came to talk with him, and he said, I'm going to have Parth sitting along. And then when he was performing, you performed a little bit. And that's when we met for the first time. But I've seen Bryden, I've seen you perform as well for a very, very long time. And I love how you guys, and I've seen all the videos on your YouTube channel, and I see how you bring your influences of Western music and how Parth brings his influences of Indian and classical music. And the marriage of that is absolutely stunning. And then, of course, you've got your choir of singers and, awesome musicians who play along with you when you do your whole band. So talk to me a little bit about the genesis of this band. How did you guys know that, okay, you know what, let's put this together? Because I don't think we've ever had anything that sounds like you guys before, a guitar player and a flautist saying that, hey, let's get together and form a band.
Yeah, yeah. So Parth and I met. In fact, we were auditioned, not auditioned. We were invited to play with the Raghu Dixit project exactly at the same time. So we met in the elevator going up to Raghu's house, and I was like, "Who's this guy?" And he was like, "Who's this guy?" So like, are you going to the same place? Because I knew he was carrying an instrument, or he was an architect, one of the two, because the flute case can be deceiving. And so like Raghu invited me, and and he said the same thing, and then of course we started playing with the Raghu Dixit project, and over the next 4.5 years, we became really really close friends because we were on tour for a really long time, and we were traveling different cities, and we were the youngest of the lot in the band, so we got along really well, and we became really good friends first. and each time we try to play music, because we're from such different backgrounds, like Parth has a very strong Indian influence, and I come from the Western background. We didn't have too many common songs or too much of common music to play along with, you know. So the only thing that got us together was Bollywood music, because both of us grew up with Bollywood. Yeah, so he's grown up watching Bollywood films, and the same with me as well. So the instant jam that we could do was on Bollywood tunes. So we would do that like at like small gatherings and parties and stuff like that. And it's only much later we thought we'll do something properly, where we'd record a song and shoot a music video around it and put it up on this platform called YouTube, which we didn't explore. We didn't have any insight to it. Nothing.
We also underestimated a lot.
Yeah. Like it's insane how it exploded on a social media platform like YouTube, and without us even like paying any attention to it. And as for the marriage of sounds, we just didn't want to do like a very basic guitar and flute jam. So I proposed the idea of bringing in the choir, and then Parth was really excited about it. And so the first instrumental medley that we did had like the choir and the guitar and the flute. And like I said, like social media has a power to do like crazy things with your life, man. Like it's insane.
I actually remember about 5 years ago when you guys put out your first video. I remember it came to me through somebody. You know, somebody said, "Hey, you guys, you should check this out, and it's really cool." And I remember actually sharing your video. It was, I think, the video of Samjhava and Mitwa. You know, you had a mashup of those couple of songs. I think there was one more song, right? Mahi Ve, I think.
Mahi, yeah.
Right. So, you know, that came to me and I was really blown away, man. I loved how it sounded. I loved everything about that. And, you know, we'll get deeper into the Bollywood music and the songs that you've done since then and how your music evolved. But I first got to get Parth to do the same thing that you did. I asked you to sing one of your early influences. Hey, where did these guys go in? Man, what is it with internet these days? Are you guys able to see them? I can't see them. Oh, there they are. They're back. So I was saying, were you getting a call or something?
No.
Sorry?
No.
Okay. No, I lost you for a second. I was saying, before we get deeper into your journey, Parth, I'm not letting you go off easy either. I want to hear something from your early days, before Rock On, before Raghu Dixit, and before Bryden and Parth. Something that you grew up listening, which, you know, when you played it nicely for the first time, maybe your mom said, "Bhai, ab to meri sari kamnaएं, you know, इच्छाएं पूरी हो गई है." So what was it that you played for her, and she's like, "Man, I can see my God in my son now."
Done. So since she was a Krishna Bhakt, I had to sound a little like what Krishna would sound like. So I'll play something for you. Just give me an extra.
Sure.
I'm his Shruti box.
Beautiful, man. That was absolutely stunning. It sounded beautiful. You know what? Before we move ahead, I want to show people something. I'm going to flip my screen around. Check this out, guys. That is the Bryden Parth channel on YouTube. As you can see, I've already subscribed to it. You guys should subscribe to it like instantly, because they've got some great stuff. In fact, they put up some I cheated right now. I just went back to their oldest video. That's how I remembered. I saw it earlier today, but I didn't remember the songs in it, so I just saw it right now and I was able to tell you. But their newest song is something that I really love very much as well, which I think you guys did just a few days ago, right? How old is it? Just 2 days ago. You put out a video 2 days ago, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The Lavi and Rose.
Yeah.
Lavi and Rose. So, you know, so that's your latest project. But now let's go back in time to 5 years ago. So you guys formed a band and you decided, okay, let's make it a proper band where, you know, you've got your musicians, you've got a choir with you. How difficult or how easy was it to take the band on the road? Because, you know, that's what eventually every band wants to do. They want to perform. And you guys, for everybody who doesn't know, these guys are one of the top bands right now performing in corporate shows and weddings and all sorts of things. So to get to that point, how difficult was it, or how easy was it?
Um, so in the beginning, when we Parth and I wanted to go live, we were pretty much a duo with. We invited a percussion player to join us, Joel Rosario, and it was just the three of us playing at coffee shops and other venues. It was like a really casual jam, and we really liked the sound of that. But we like organically invited more people to add to the sound. I mean, we have a lot of experience with bands, with working with bands in the past, with the full sound, but we wanted to do this from scratch. So it was just the two of us, and then we added an instrumentalist one at a time. And we've done shows that it was a lot of fun, but they may not have been the greatest shows we have done. So adding each element was a really fun process. And we the hardest part was nothing actually. I think just showing up was the hardest part in terms of doing it every day. Like we rehearsed every single day over the last 5 years, and ever since we went live, we like tapped into a market that we didn't know existed. Like the whole private events and corporates was something that we hadn't heard of. So we started getting a lot of invitations from there, and we wanted to make the performance itself a little larger than life. And it started with hard selling the choir, because it's really like clients sometimes don't want to spend that kind of money and to fly down a 20-member ensemble.
Yeah.
But I think ever since we started putting out videos with the choir, people bought into the idea of it. And even the musicians that you bring on board, you really have to sell your vision to them. Like I think that's the important part. They need to feel invested in your vision of doing cover music or Bollywood or anything like that. Like we are from South India, so Bollywood is already it comes with a little bit of a resistance. Musicians are not too open about doing it. But Parth and I decided we wanted to do music with people that we enjoy doing music with. It shouldn't be stressful. It shouldn't be weird. Like I wouldn't play Bollywood with anybody else. I think it's because we're such good friends that it makes sense to play music of this kind. And so it takes a musician who's also not restricted in his own head. Saying that I will play only this genre or that kind of music or whatever. You just need to have like-minded people. And luckily for us, over the years, we've had like some of the best musicians and some of the best people play with us. And we rehearsed every single day. Like we would do a 6 to 9 a.m. rehearsal because everyone had corporate jobs to follow and this and that. But I think showing up is why things got better for us. The shows got started increasing, and everything from there on was just word of mouth. We didn't have like management or marketing or nothing. People watched us from show to show, and they just told their friends and other clients, and things happened for us.
That's fantastic, man. So, before we go further into your journey, I also want to just address the people who are watching right now. I recognize a lot of them are people who know you, who are your fans. And, every now and then I've been hosting my talk show for the last 7 years, but it's amazing, man. And, it's most humbling when it's happening on Instagram. I've been doing this for a long time, but then a fan of my guests will come and will ask a very simple question like, why is this guy talking so much? Why aren't they just singing and talking? Why is he talking? So in that spirit, let me introduce myself. My name is Mihir Joshi. This is my talk show. Emphasis on the word talk. My guests talk and I talk because we have things to talk about. Hence, I am talking. And of course, you can hear them talk as well. And these guys, for the ones who are seeing them maybe for the first time, are an incredible duo of two phenomenal musicians. You've got Bryden playing the guitar and you've got Parth playing the flute. Now that all the introductions are done, let me get back to talking to my friend. All right, so guys, before we go further into your story, can you play me something that you guys did at the very start of your journey of Bryden and Parth? Something that your fans will also instantly recognize and say, hey, this is what we fell in love with. This is why we subscribe to your channel.
I think it was Mitwa, right?
Yeah.
Even before the YouTube release, we had put out a small jam of Mitwa on Facebook, and that exploded. We were sitting we were on tour, right? I think in Seattle, somewhere in the West Coast. And we were touring the US that time, and we put out a video, and people just went on sharing things, man. Like, I think that's when I realized what viral meant. Like it doesn't hit you. I mean, it only hits you when it happens to you. I think. You know the power of social media. All right, enough talking. Let's play some. This is a song by the amazing Shankar, Ehsaan Loy, and Ehsaan's one of my favorite guitar players. And I think it's the melody of the song and the arrangement. It made us fall in love with it, man. Like it's a fantastic song. So this one's Mitwa for you guys. And I see a lot of the band and the choir here. Shout out to you guys. Hi,
Hey,
friends.
good to see you guys.
There's Bulbul, Shruti, George, and a lot of people. Shweta is also here. Okay, let's go.
I want to get them to introduce all of you as well very soon. But first, let's listen to a little bit of Mitwa.
Yeah. And maybe a lot of you don't know this, but this is also one of my favorite songs that Parth plays. I'm a big fan of the way he plays this song. So and I think that's why the jam is pretty organic. Like I love the way it happened. Let's go.
Yeah. So, I saw a comment from a couple of people, and it's my recommendation as well. When you guys sing together, when you perform together, Parth, come a little closer to the phone, since this is just the phone and the microphone that you're using right now. So just come a little closer so that we can hear the flute a little louder. Because right now what's happening is the guitar is loud and you're not. So, a little would be nice. But there you go. I think you guys are totally ready. And I can see your choir right now saying that, they're ready to sing the R's on it and clap for it. And so that is really cool, man. Speaking of which, why don't you, you got a beautiful band and a beautiful bunch of people that you travel with. You said like almost 20 people that you travel with. Let's give a shout out to all of them while we are moving on with your journey. Just name the people in your band.
Okay, so the current lineup. So the lineup keeps changing based on how busy people get, and
of course,
but it's great. Like it's always a great bunch of people who come on board. Some of them have been there right from the start. I think some of the oldest members are Mana Santanam, who's also acting as a manager right now, and Jerusha Verghese was there right from the beginning. Ruhi Ahmad and George Mamin. I'm just thinking of timeline based. Okay, but now I'm just going to go all out. So that's Mana Jeru. We have Ruhi Ahmad, Shruti Kedalaya. We have Shweta Subramanian, George Mamin, Daniel Salvaraj, Joel D'Souza. We have Ramya Kirtana, Bulbul Koda, and anyone else in the altars that we're missing out? No. Okay. So that's the choir. The band is O.C. Gomango on bass. We have Anthony Kamal Bob on percussion. We have Livin Tom on drums. We have Siddharth Kamath on keys. And Tojan Toby is our vocalist, a fantastic vocalist. And Nikhil Pai, who is our sound engineer. And Renwick Lewis is also here. He's he edits most of our content work. So that's our team for you as for this season. And I love them, man. Like they know.
We really miss them. We haven't seen them in so long.
I can imagine, man. Which is primarily why I said, let's give a shout out to them, because I know, especially for bands who were performing actively before this whole situation began, you guys must be missing your bandmates so much. I mean, it's okay. It's you guys are lucky that you probably stay close enough that you can come over to
Right.
whose house are we in right now, or whose studio is where are we at?
This is my place. This is in my house.
Brilliant. So, for everybody in the band, you guys are fantastic. I've been watching your videos. Congratulations on all the amazing work you're doing. And I'm sure the situation will get sorted out eventually and you guys will be back on the road. And keeping my fingers crossed that that is sooner rather than later. So, Bryden Parth, let's talk about, the fact that you guys are working on an album right now. What is that going to be? Is it going to be original music?
Yes, so it's an album of original music. There are a few instrumental tunes in the album, and it's also a multilingual album. So we're like outsourcing most of our lyrics from people who are like experts in those languages. We have songs in Hindi, in Malayalam, in Tamil, and in Kannada, and any other language? Are we missing a language?
English.
And in English, yes, there's an English song as well. Right.
And how many songs are you looking at putting on this album?
We right now we have 9 songs. We're thinking of squeezing in another one. Even though like current stats, they say don't put out a very long album because people don't have the attention span and this and that. But I don't want any of that to affect the way we write and we want to compose.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to cater to trends and this and that, then some of the artistry gets lost in the process.
Yeah.
So we're going old school with the album. We want to record the whole band live, and yeah, it's a very exciting process for us as well. It took a lot of time to come together because we've been playing for 5 years, but we also have people with such varied tastes. So I think getting the sound of the band right and which direction we want to go took time. And I'm so glad we played with all these musicians for the last 5 years. So now it works more like a band. The working process. So yeah, we have an album.
That's beautiful, man. I'm guessing you've not really put out any material from the album out anywhere, right? Yet.
We did one song on MTV Unplugged when we were on the sets with Guru Randhawa, and we wanted to do one original from our album. It's called Maklata. It's an instrumental song, and Maklata is. I'm saying it also like an Anglo-Indian. It's a Maklata.
Maklata. It's a Kannada word, which means children playing.
Yeah, child's play, basically.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Forgive my ignorance. So here's what I'm going to do, not just for me, but for everybody watching. This video will go up on the YouTube channel of The MJ Show. And in the info section below, not only will I give you a link to Bryden Parth's YouTube channel, which you should definitely go and subscribe to, but I'll also find that, oh, wait, all the MTV Unplugged songs are no longer on YouTube, right? Is your song still there?
Nah, it's only on Voot.
Only on Voot. Yeah. Hey, MTV Unplugged, what up with that, man? Everybody wants to see stuff on YouTube too. Keep it on Voot, but also keep the songs on YouTube, right? And we will still love the fact that, they are with MTV Unplugged.
Yeah, I think they exclusively signed with Voot. And Voot is a free app, so it's pretty cool. I mean, like, I go there only to watch MTV Unplugged.
Okay, so now that he's plugged Voot and he said that it's a free app, okay, download Voot and check out their song. I'll at least give you the name of the song in the info section, so you know when you go on Voot what you need to search to find that song. All right, so you know what? Can I make a request? Even though it will be just the two of you and not the full final sound, could we hear maybe like a little snippet of one of the songs that you are planning on putting on the album? Just a little bit. Just give us a taste, like just a little taste.
Should we do? Oh my god. Okay. So there's a song that is written for my vocalist Tojan Toby, but he's not here with us. I mean, like in this room right now. So I'm just gonna try and attempt singing in Hindi. Please forgive me, and you're a Hindi king, so I shall take your permission before we do this.
Also, this instrument is going to be really loud, Mihir, so I'm going to step back a little bit.
Sounds good.
Sure.
I think the phone itself is compressing.
Okay.
All right.
Fine. What is that? Is that a piccolo?
This is it's a penny whistle. The brand is Susato. It's an Irish whistle.
Oh, lovely. Okay. Yeah. Go for it. Let's hear it.
And the use of this instrument is specifically on this song because it takes inspiration from the Celtic region. But the song is basically about young revolution, like people coming together and raising their voices.
Very
It
cool.
is actually, yeah. So I mean, I think we'll give you a proper explanation once the album drops. But we put the song together yesterday. So like
Yeah, we got lyrics written for it very recently, so the song is still sinking in.
yeah, and lyrics were written by Nirmika Singh, who's with Rolling Stone, and
Of
of course
course, Nirmika. Hey, so you know
yeah.
what? Listen, guys, this is an exclusive that's happening right now for everybody watching right now, and for the people who land up catching it on YouTube. Here it is before it comes out on the album, a sneak preview of a song which is going to be on the first Bryden Parth album. Go for it.
All right, I hope we survive this. Let's go. And 1, 2, 3, let's go. हमें कोई रोक ना पाया है, हमने ही तो बनाया है, मेरा है तुम्हारा है ये ज़माना, बाज ना तू आया, हमने ही तो जलाया, मेरा है तुम्हारा, सुनो ज़माना.
Yeah. That was really cool, man. That was really cool. And you know what, Parth, when you started playing this, I remembered the one, I said at the start, okay, definitely not here in our country, but you remember there was a band called the Corrs, all
Yes,
brothers and
we
sisters.
draw a lot of inspiration from them.
I love them, man. I absolutely
Yeah.
love them. And, this was during, I guess they were on top around the end of my teenage years, my early, in 20s. And I loved everything that they put out. In fact, their MTV Unplugged album was one of the best unplugged
Yes.
albums that I had heard. They'd done a cover of Everybody Hurts, which still gives me goosebumps, man. That was absolutely stunning. And also they'd done a track song. They'd done Dreams, right? That was also a beautiful song. Okay,
Yeah.
let me put you on the spot since you guys do love them. Any song of theirs that you can, because I know you could sing it as well. Can you pick a song? Maybe a Fleetwood Mac song, maybe a core song, whatever. Can I hear you guys sing something?
I think they have a rendition of Toss the Feathers, right?
Yeah.
That's all. But what key is that?
Sorry, just give me a second.
E flat.
Hmm.
Sorry. Since you're putting us on the spot, we have to figure this.
Yeah. Go for it, man.
Really long, huh?
So this is one of their songs, and we really love it. I think it's called Toss the Feathers. I'm not, pardon me if I'm mistaken, but we'll figure that out in a bit.
Toss the Feathers, yeah. That was absolutely stunning, guys. That was absolutely stunning. By the way, when you mentioned it and I looked it up, it was called "Toss the Feathers," and it's a traditional Irish folk tune, traditionally played with a tin whistle and a fiddle. But this was a flute and a guitar doing a traditional Irish melody. And how beautiful was that? That was really, really cool.
Yeah,
Awesome
yeah.
stuff. Let's get back to your story. Let's get back to the album. You said you got songs in multiple languages. Is there a timeline that you put to it? Is there a time that you're looking at releasing the album?
So we had just finished touring pretty extensively the last, not the last few months, but I think up till March we were really busy and on the road, and we had committed this summer to the album, saying that we're gonna get everything down, we're gonna probably record in Bombay. We were shortlisting studios there, and before we knew it, life had glorious plans for all of us. so I think we lost a little bit of the album momentum because we spoke about it so much, and then we were just like separated and we couldn't meet. And there's only that much you can do virtually. You can, I mean, we're all just trying to stay sane in the process. But you got to keep your eye on the ball and try and make it work. So we made phone calls. We do a lot of video conferences with lyricists, and our lyricists are spread out in the country and overseas as well. So it is still gonna happen, but it's taking longer than usual.
Of
We're just
course.
waiting to meet the whole band and lock on some of the song ideas. But yeah, we're taking one song at a time. Ideally, we should have been recording right now, but and the album was scheduled for September or October, but I think it's going to be a little delayed because of how things are going about.
So, here's a thought, and something that will keep you guys busy, occupied, and give your fans new music every couple of months. What you could do is you've got 9 songs planned, right? You could probably release them as 9 singles over 9 months. And when you've got
Right.
all the songs done, put out a physical copy if you want to, or put it out. And you could even talk to your whoever your distributor is going to be saying that, hey, it's going to be an album, but we're going to be releasing it as one song at a
Yeah.
time. So, the moment you finish recording, mixing, mastering, release it. Even if you don't make a video, just so that your fans have your music as soon as
Right.
possible, and they don't have to wait until say next year. Because if you were planning on releasing it in September, things having been put back by 3-4 months, you'll probably look at releasing it in December or January next year. So, this is
True.
one way, just my thought, just a way to sort of
Yeah.
expedite the process of getting your music out to people. Now, speaking of music, why don't we have recommendations from or, both of you, 3 recommendations each for your fans, music that they can listen to during these lockdown weeks? Because I'm fairly certain we've got a couple more lockdown 5.0 and lockdown 6.0 in store for us for a little while for sure. So why don't you give some recommendations for people to listen to over the next few weeks?
Oh man, this is a live playlist recommendation. This is hard.
What are you
So
listening to right now? Let's put
so
it that way.
apart from a research for the album, that's a separate playlist. I'm also like I'm going back to a lot of soul performances, like people who perform very organically and don't like not you can't learn those things. People from music from Africa and bands like Earth, Wind and Fire. There's also a really cool African artist, Blessing Chamanga, whose album I listen to almost every day. It's just really pure and there's a lot of joy in it, and I think if anything that has happened in this lockdown is just everyone's like made to be equal. This lockdown has done that. And so albums like Earth, Wind and Fire and Blessing Chimanga's album called Tose are really celebrating life and celebrating people. So I've been listening to a lot of that kind of stuff, and of course for the album I've been like exploring world music and that. Parth has been doing some really cool world music album listening.
I've been trying to break down some complex jazz pieces, but this is again for my personal learning. But apart from that, I've also been listening to a lot of classical music because it kind of soothes you down and keeps you sane during this troubled time. So yeah, a lot of classical music. Also, I think we're exploring a lot of jazz artists. We recently went for the Java Jazz Festival in Indonesia, so we've picked up names from there, and we're kind of looking up their music and listening to a lot of people's music is just a big learning for us every single day. Like Bryden literally shares music with me every other day, saying check out this artist, and likewise.
Yeah, we exchange a lot
Awesome.
of music.
Let's talk about the fact that Bryden Parth performing on stage with your band is predominantly Bollywood. So tell me about three Bollywood music makers who you guys really, really enjoy performing on stage. Because I know you've done covers of A.R. Rahman on your channel. You've done covers of Shankar Ehsaan. Talk about some of the music makers in Bollywood that you guys really enjoy and you think that, oh, we love doing versions of their songs on stage.
Okay, so it honestly depends on the setting of the event. If it's a shadi gig, like a wedding gig that we do, we usually introduce ourselves very subtly, and we do the more indulgent songs, from artists like Rahman sir and Shankar Ehsaan and Amit Trivedi as well. Amit Trivedi is the young blood who's revolutionized Bollywood music. But I think it's a lot of fun to play Mr. Rahman's and Shankar Ehsaan songs because the arrangements are so strong, and being a musician, it's nice to indulge once in a while. So we start off with stuff like that, and then we bring out the belters, towards the end of the set, which
that's when it gets nasty.
Yeah, there are like Punjabi medleys and some really cool English pop songs. So our set list is extremely spread out. Like we're not closed on the idea of covering whatever songs. Like I think a set opener for us has always been Ilahi, which I think is a fantastic composition. And we close the show with a Punjabi medley that has Daler Mehndi. It has people, man. Sukhbir, yes.
It's good fun.
It's solid fun. Like
I was just joking with Sahil Khattar the other day and saying that if you want to find somebody who's hidden in India, if you're playing hide and seek, all you have to do is sing oh ho ho ho, and somebody was going to scream that back to you from there. That even if they're hidden, it's like hardwired in Indian DNA. The moment you hear oh ho ho ho, you have to sing back oh man, it's hilarious. It's amazing, man. Like it's really really cool. But it's such an amazing song. Well, okay. Can I hear you perform maybe because I saw the medley that you did, your tribute to A.R. Rahman, the video that you have on your YouTube channel. I think, Parth, I got to compliment you, man. I mean, see, Bryden knows I'm a rock musician as well. I love guitars and I love everything that is to do with rock music. But you're truly spectacular, man. And I mean that in the most genuine way possible. You sing with your flute. It's just amazing. Like literally, your band could do without a singer, because you do the singing with the flute and it's just spectacular. So I wanted to tell you on camera as well that you genuinely are really, really amazing, and you've spent years getting to this point. It's fantastic. So could I hear you guys do something where he's singing with his flute and a song that you guys enjoy doing together?
You want to do something from the Rahman medley? I can do.
Man, the way you started the medley with Roja itself was phenomenal.
Can we do only Roja? That's the only song.
But thanks, me, very kind of you. Thank you so much. That's really sweet.
Yeah, that medley is one of my favorites, and it's nice because everything was stripped down. It was just a keyboard player and him, and Siddharth and him just complemented each other so well. Can you do E flat?
Okay.
Sorry.
By the way, this shows you guys how truly live stuff happens. And with musicians especially, every time I have a musician on the show or if it's a singer, and when I put them on the spot, I just ask them something. You see what is the real thing. It's not planned. There's no pyrotechnics happening behind. There's no auto-tune. There is no magic of technology. It's just the two guys getting together, figuring out, okay, this is the key that works, and now they're going to do it for you. So here we go.
That's right. This is okay for you?
That was
Thank you.
spectacular,
Thank
man.
you.
That was absolutely amazing. I was just speaking with Mana, and I was telling her. She was asking me, "Are you guys going to be talking for an hour?" And I said, "You know what? Whatever feels right organically. If we feel after 10 minutes that we don't want to talk anymore, we'll take that decision." I just realized. I looked at the clock over there. We've been talking for almost 50 minutes already, man. I didn't even realize the time fly by. And I told her very often, though, it's never 10 minutes. It reaches to the point where Instagram tells me over here, you got 30 seconds left. And then I wrap up quickly saying that, okay, guys, before Instagram, tells us to shut up, here, let's end the episode properly. But that said, we've still got a good 11 minutes at least before we got to wrap up. And I got to ask you about the stuff that you guys have been doing during lockdown. You did a fantastic jam with Benny. That's how I sort of reconnected with you guys. I saw the video that you did with him sitting at your own homes. That was really cool. Tell me a little bit about the jam with Benny, and also tell me about the things that you guys have been doing together, and the music that you put out during the lockdown over here on your channel.
So every time we get a message from Benny, we know it's good news, and it's going to be a lot of fun because we worked with him in the past for a show on Z5 called Lockdown, and we did renditions of Gulabo and Gileria on that show, and it was a lot of fun. Like he's a lot of energy and the whole South Indian connect, so we get the jokes and everything. And for this collaboration, he wanted to put this out on his birthday, and he asked us if we'd be okay, doing a collab on a song like Dil Se. And Dil Se is like a song written for him. Like I can only hear his voice on it. And it was amazing that he asked us to be a part of it, considering it was a really special release for him on his birthday. And he discussed saying that he wanted it really unplugged and really earthy, and he did some really cool things on a ukulele and the instrument, a percussion instrument. I don't know what
Kazoo. I think it's called
Kazoo.
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 Okay.
Kazoo was on his other jam. I think for this he used an Udu.
Oh yeah, he didn't use the kazoo on this. Sorry, my brain's muddled up. Yeah. Sorry. He used another one here. Correct.
But yeah, it happened very quickly. So he just got in touch with us, and I think in a matter of 4-5 days, the video was out. We shot our videos. We also had Rukmini, the dancer who danced on the video, who did a fabulous job. And it's always a pleasure to work with Benny. He's such a beautiful human being.
Yeah,
He really is, man. I had the greatest time chatting with him on the show during this lockdown season of mine, as I'm calling it. And you know what? Since 30th March, I've been going live 6 days a week at 8 and 9 p.m. Talking to a whole bunch of fantastic musicians. You guys I've actually done over 100 artists so far. You are in my 100 to 110 category. And at the end of this month, on 30th of May, I'm going to take a little break because, it's been 2 months of back-to-back shows, but it's been fantastic. I've had such a great time chatting with some phenomenal artists from all across the country, and it's great to see what we're doing. We're doing something very important, and I want you guys to recognize that as well. If you've not put that perspective in your mind, for everybody right now who is not an artist, who's not a musician, who's not a singer, who's not a content creator, everybody else is looking to us for solace and peace of mind right now. Because when the work from home is done and the jhadu katka and making the food is done, they want to get their minds off the lockdown. And people like you and everybody who's making music, who's creating content, is taking people's minds away from bad thoughts and negative thoughts and the boredom of lockdown. So you guys should feel super happy that you guys are putting out music which is putting a smile on people's face, like the last song that you did, which put a massive smile on my face. I absolutely love that. Tell me a little bit about why you chose Love Me on Rose.
Oh, that song. So I think Parth was working. Okay, before you speak about the song, I also want to thank you for doing this every single night.
Yeah.
I've been following your work as well, and it's very hard to show up without an incentive. So I got to give it to you. Thanks for connecting us with fans and your audience. You have a really large audience. And it's great to be reconnecting with you, man. It's been like a good 6-7 years.
Easily.
We're talking about. Yeah, so thank you for doing it every single day. You're keeping musicians busy. You're connecting us with our audiences, so it's amazing.
You've also been supporting artists for the longest time. Like I know you've stayed connected with a lot of artists, and to be doing this night after night, getting artists on your show. I mean, it's inspiring for other artists to watch as well, to get to know other people's stories and amazing. Me, thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. So yeah, go for it. Tell me.
So Lavi and Rose, I think Parth was working out several jazz videos, and he stumbled upon this tune after a really long time, and he was I think he put together a karaoke backing track, and he was going to release it. And I heard it, and I said, "Bro, I want to be a part of this, man. Like, let me play. Please allow me to play ukulele on this track." And then he said, "Okay, okay, do something."
So it is a part of my experimenting jams. I was just trying to break it down, trying to understand what the melody is. I mean, I've heard the track, but I wanted to play it. The Western flute is also an instrument that I've just picked up. I got a left-handed Western flute, so I was working it out. I worked it out on a backing track, like Bryden said, and I sent it to him. And I said, "Bro, check it out. Let me know what you think." And he said, "Take that backing track off. I'm going to play on it." And I said, "It'll be a privilege."
And then
Awesome,
yeah,
man.
we did it really fast. I pulled out an instrument that I haven't used in the longest time, the ukulele, and we recorded the song. And the next day we shot it, and Mana shot the video, and she has the steadiest hands in the world. So it did like a one take thing, and it was awesome. I think it was very spontaneous, and I think I loved that about it.
Man, I love that song. And speaking of the ukulele, I keep this little ukulele in the background.
Yeah,
I'm beginning.
I
Yeah,
know.
I'm beginning to learn how to play this. And I love the fact that the F chord is not difficult to play on this. The F chord is so easy. So now I just use this, and I've learned the first maybe like 5 or 8 chords, and I use a capo just to go into any scale that I want. And it's the biggest joy of my life to be able to just sit here and play songs. Hey, by the way, speaking of Ehsaan and guitar, I got to tell you one more personal story. I released my debut album with my band. Sorry, the other way around.
Oh,
This was Mumbai Blues, which I put out with my band in 2014. In
right.
2015, we won the GMA Award for Best Rock Album. And that year, the only award which got something apart from the trophy was the Best Rock Album Award. Raghu also won the one Best Folk Artist in that year for in the
Yeah,
GMA
yeah.
GMA Award. But the only award which got something apart from the trophy itself was the Best Rock Album. And it was Ehsaan's signature series Golden Fender guitar. So
Oh,
he presented the award. He called out my name. I went up on stage. I didn't know there was a guitar coming because he just came with a trophy and he said, Mihir, you'd come to my house and interviewed me many years ago, and we spoke about this guitar that's my signature series guitar, and it's a really cool guitar. I said, yeah, I remember that. So you know what, Mihir, I'm going to gift that to you. And the only reason I'm mentioning that here is because I know you like Ehsaan, and as traditional things, as things happen with non-Bollywood work, we were on stage for 6 minutes, and on television they showed 30 seconds where he just said, "Hey, Mihir, here's a guitar for you," and that's it. So on television, nobody heard any of the rest of the things that Ehsaan said. But it was one of the greatest joys of my life getting a guitar from him, and it's been one of the highlights of my life as a musician as well. So I
that's
just thought
amazing.
I'd let you know
Congrats.
because you're an Ehsaan fan as well.
That's amazing. I knew about the rock award. I just didn't know about the guitar. So congrats. It's a guitar that I have my eye on.
So you know what? Let's end because we've got to end the session in just a bit. Let's end it with a little performance of the last video that you guys put up on YouTube. Why don't we do a little bit of a live performance of Lavi on Route?
It's
Sorry, just give us a second, mate.
it's the
Yeah. So by the way, while he's getting that, I got to tell you, have you heard Dean Martin's version of this song, Bryden?
Dean Martin. No, I don't think so.
Here's a recommendation from me for you.
Okay.
When you get the chance after this session gets over, oh, that's such a cute ukulele, man. That's the one you used in the video too, right?
Yeah, it's hand painted by Mana. She's also a customization artist. So it's really cool.
How cool is that? So yeah, I think my recommendation to the two of you, Parth, check out Dean
Yeah,
Martin's version of La Vie en Rose. It's amazing, and there's a lot of English lyrics that he puts into it. So you should check it out after the session's over.
I'll check it out. Thanks, Mihir.
Yep, go for it.
All right, this one's Lavi and Rose, our latest release. I hope you like it. There you go. Okay, let's go.
Instagram. Just learn how to play it.
Man, it was beautiful. It was really, really cool. I really enjoyed that, and I can see that everybody else watching also enjoyed that. So, guys, for the final time, I'm going to tell you once again: if you're not already subscribed to Bryden Parth YouTube channel, go and do that right now. Follow the boys on Instagram. As you can see right now, they are from their handle together, but they also have their individual Instagram handles. I've posted that earlier in the day when I tagged them about the promotional photo that we put up to let you guys know that they're going to be on the show. So follow them individually, follow the band as well. And, this, like I said, this video goes up on the YouTube channel of The MJ Show. You guys should tell everybody, all your fans, to go and subscribe to my channel as well.
Yes. For those of you who don't know already, this is Mihir Joshi. He's been in the business for I think for the longest time, and he's been connecting artists to their audiences in spectacular ways through talk shows. So please subscribe to Mihir Joshi's channel on YouTube and on Instagram as well. So and I want to thank you, Mihir, for doing this. Parth and I
Thanks, Mihir. Thank you for having us.
Happy to be here.
Hey man, I had the greatest time talking to you guys. I literally did not realize how quickly an hour passed. It's now that time when Instagram's gonna quickly pop up something saying you got 30 seconds left. But before Instagram does that, oh, there you go, 28, 27. I was saying before Instagram tells us to get lost. That is Bryden, that's Parth. My name is Mihir Joshi. Thank you for being here with us. Stay home, stay safe. And about 30 seconds from now, I'm going to have Melvin Lewis right here with me. Take care, boys. I'll see you soon.
See you guys. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.